I forgot my camera before I came outside tonight. But I figured I'd just do a brief update because one of the things that I'm running into, there's just not a lot of videos showing maintenance on these tractors. Not that that's a bad thing, because I would imagine that most people that own them probably know their way around them really well. But I figured since if anybody wants to get into diesel two-cylinders or two-cylinders in general, it's always helpful to have some how-to videos on online on YouTube. So anyway, tonight I'm draining the oil. I have to pick the oil up tomorrow. I'm just going to put in the John Deere 1540. What is it? The plus 52, whatever, or something like that. But anyway, I've already drained the oil and replaced the oil filter. So you can kind of look under here. So I'm going to get my light here. Doing this with the phone is not the easiest thing, but so you can see the drain plug is right there. This is the oil filter. I've already replaced the oil filter. I decided to do this video after I'd already replaced the oil filter. So basically you just undo that bolt right there and the whole assembly will come out as one piece. This is the oil filter that came out, and I went ahead and replaced the O-ring for the oil filter housing. You can see that's not the greatest looking O-ring in the world. And then here's the drain plug. I'll probably let it drain overnight since I'm not gonna put oil back in it tonight, since I still have to pick up oil. The oil coming out of it didn't look terrible. It was a little crusty when it first came out, but overall it didn't look terrible. I'll probably put, well, I think, what is it, 3.75 gallons, something like that. I'll put that in there and then probably change it out in another 5 or 6 hours or so. So on these tractors, this is the oil dipstick right here. I think it's the same way on the 80 and the 830, I think. Don't quote me on that. And then this is the oil fill right here. It's got the vent on it. So that's where you'll put the oil. That's where I'll put the oil back in tomorrow evening. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish replacing the crankcase oil. I think there's something to do with this cover right here. I am still trying to source a manual. I am just not a big fan of reprints, and so most everything I can find is a reprint at the moment, or just too expensive for what I think they are. So anyway, still looking for a manual. So right now I'm just kind of dawdling along as I go. Hopefully my parts will be here tomorrow and I can get to work on it this weekend a little bit. An oil change will be really nice. I think it'll do a little bit better. It'll have more oil in it. It wasn't low. Well, I can't say that. It was only at the add mark when I was running it before. I kept real close. I paid real close attention to the oil pressure. So I think having fresh new oil will benefit it some, and particularly changing it out in the next 5 or 6 hours. I'm also going to go ahead and do the transmission. So I'm going to put, I guess, from what I can figure out, 80-90 weight in there. I'll just go to Deere and get, I want to say it takes 8 gallons, so I'll just get 10 gallons of 80-90 weight, drop it in there. If I get too much water out, I'll probably go get just some real cheap gear oil and go ahead and run it through for a couple hours and then change out with the Deere oil. I'll see what comes out of it. But the oil coming out of the crankcase wasn't too bad. It had a little bit of water in it and had a little bit of, and I'm sure that's just mostly condensation. So anyway, thought that would be a decent update. Hopefully I can do the fuel system this weekend, and yeah, and it'll run a little bit better, hopefully, with the new oil, and then the gear oil in the rear end will make me feel a little bit better. So anyway, that's progress for today.